Welcome, everyone, to today's October outreach session, the Creative and Contemplative, today with Dr. Benefiel and Dr. Robbie Pinter. We are so honored to have them with us today. I want to welcome all of you first. It is very exciting to be here with you in this Zoom room. Thank you for joining us. From some of you are familiar faces, and then many of you are new to St. Mary's. You come to us from locally here in Tennessee, many states in the Southeast, and also Ohio, Michigan. Shout out to you guys, North Carolina, Virginia, and even Canada. Linda, good to have you. Thank you all so much for being with us. We are so excited to have you. And we are absolutely honored to have Robbie and Margaret with us today. They are just precious human beings to start with, but they are also just magnificent professionals in their fields. I'm going to tell you a little bit about their bios, and then we're going to pass it on to them for their programs. Dr. Robbie Pinter is a retired English professor from University. She is also offers, she's now retired and offers spiritual direction. Sorry about my camera. We are in the country and sometimes the broadband is a little thin out here on you. She offers spiritual direction, writes and facilitates retreats and centering prayer groups. She's a three-time graduate of Shalom Institute, and she serves on the board here at St. Mary's and also the program committee. So a lot of what happens here is because of the work and dedication to this center. She's a point person for the Contemplative Outreach in Middle Tennessee and works with the Wisdom Tree Collective as a mentor in the spiritual direction program. And Dr. Benefiel is a Quaker, executive director of Shalom Institute. She ran her own consulting and speaking, training, and coaching business called Executive Soul. She taught as adjunct faculty at Andover Newton Theological School, and she has written extensively on various aspects of contemplative leadership. It is just an absolute honor to have them lead us today and also later in retreats here at St. Mary. So I'm going to turn the program over to them.
Welcome. In the words of Hafiz, here's how we welcome you. The place where you are right now, God circled on a map for you, knowing you would come. Wherever your eyes and arms and heart can move, against the earth and sky, the beloved has bowed there. Our beloved has bowed there, knowing you were coming. This place, this very place where you are right now, God circled on a map for you. So today we have those welcoming words, and yet most of us live with a great deal of anxiety with what's going on in the world. And as a kind of intention and opening prayer, I want to address that anxiety and suggest that one of the things that we can do in this time of uncertainty and fear um, is remember the mystics, the seekers, the creatives who've come before us, who've been here for millennia and offer us a path and a way to go. We can lean back into the wisdom tradition that we have inherited. We can lean into that for sustenance and support, knowing that at this moment, wisdom is still supporting us. At this moment, and the next moment, and the next moment. It is the wisdom that Hildegard de Bingen talks about in her wonderful passage, Antiphon for Divine Wisdom. Sophia, you of the whirling wings, you circling around us with the energy of God. You quicken the world in your clasp. One wing soars to heaven, the other sweeps the earth, and the third flies all around us. Praise to Sophia, Let all the earth praise her. So there we are. There we are with wisdom that has been here and will be here. We look to our spiritual friends for support and guidance, and let them be witnesses to our lives, just as we are in our very presence, witnesses to others. Father James Martin, who will receive the Shalem Contemplative of Voices Award this year for his work in the world as a leader in contemplative practices, suggest that when we are most anxious, that we can imagine the holy sitting by us in the next chair or maybe on the next stump and saying, here are my anxieties, because the Holy One, the Wisdom One, the wisdom tradition can take all of our fears and anxieties. So that's what we're about today, is coming to a place where we can witness and create one another in holiness. So today we'll have three movements for our time together, and the first two movements have to do with a poem that we'll reflect on and create from. The third movement will be Visio Divina that Margaret will lead us in. And so today we'll have these opportunities to be together as witnesses and participants in the great wisdom river. So we have in the chat the name and where everybody's from, and just we do have that, don't we? The name in the chat. Yes, good. So we have so many people who are in there, and because of the time, I think I'm going to not read everybody's names out loud in places. You can look at that on your own. What I'd like to do is invite us into the first movement, and that's the movement where we look at this poem, Silence is God's Lap. And do I have the ability to share that, Mary Beth? We were working on that in the beginning, and um, Mary Beth, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm working on that for
Oh,
you.
good, good, good. Um,
Yes, you should be able to share.
Great. All right. So bear with me just a minute. Can everybody see that? Great. Silence is God's lap. Perhaps the most important thing we bring to another person is the silence in us. Not the sort of silence that is filled with unspoken criticism or hard withdrawal, the sort of silence that is a place of refuge, of rest, of acceptance of someone as they are. We are hungry for this other silence. It is hard to find. In its presence, we can remember something beyond the moment, a strength on which to build a life. Silence is a place of great power and healing. Silence is God's lap. So I would like us to experience this poem one more time and would just love it if somebody else could read the poem. Would somebody just volunteer to do that or just start reading?
Silence is God's lap. Perhaps the most important thing we bring to another person is the silence in us. Not the sort of silence that is filled with unspoken criticism or hard withdrawal. The sort of silence that is a place of refuge, of rest, of acceptance of someone as they are. We are all hungry for this other silence. It is hard to find. In its presence, we can remember something beyond the moment, a strength on which to build a life. Silence is a place of great power and healing. Silence is God's lap.
Oh, Nancy, thank you so much. That was just beautiful. Thank you, thank you. And that's why we read it with different voices, because we all bring some part of the spirit with us. So thank you for that. Now, I want you to look through this poem, and I'm going to try to get most of it in the screen. And we're going to send you these poems afterwards so that you can have them to sit with. But here, if you'll just look at most of the poem there, I'd like you to take the word or words that speak to you and even maybe jot them in your notes app, or if you have a journal or some paper by you, write them down. And just the word or words that seem to come alive to you. So this is a kind of lectio, and it's a wonderful practice that we all do. I've recently heard that some people are calling it scriptio divina, where we use poetry to inspire our thoughts and reflections. So just take it, for example, if hunger talks to you or hungry, write that down. Beyond the moment, write that down, just so you remember it. So just take a few seconds to do that. What word or words speak to you? Now, we're just kind of getting to know one another and get into this space. So I want to put us all together and ask you to just read aloud your word or words as you feel comfortable.
Lap, refuge, presence, healing.
Thank you. Thank you. Read them one more time. Lap.
Lap, refuge, presence, healing.
Okay. And you can all tell just that alone is a kind of poem.
Mm-hmm.
Just those words. Thank you. All right. Someone else.
Great power and healing.
Thank you, Ron. Great power and healing. Thank you.
A
Someone else.
place of refuge.
Thank you, Anita.
Most important thing we can bring to another.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you.
Silence in us.
Oh, Barbara. Thank you.
Most important, bring silence a refuge. All hungry a strength.
Thank you, Helen. Wonderful.
Place of refuge.
Oh, good. Thank you, Karen. Place of refuge.
Acceptance and refuge.
Thank you, Amy. Wonderful. All right. So the next step that we would do is write a sentence from these words. And because of time, we're not going to do that right now, but I just want to offer you that for when the session's over, that you could write more than one sentence. You could go ahead and write a paragraph or whatever seems to be where the Spirit's leading you, because these are words that are pregnant. They're full of substance, they're full of spirit. You can take them out of the poem and they offer you something that's a little bit different than what you see when they're in the poem. So use these words to support you, to let the spirit flow through you and see what comes, if that's appealing to you. Just reading the separate words is a poem, as we just heard. So thank you for all of that. Beautiful. All right, let's move on to the next part. And I want to talk a little bit about creativity. And so, how does creativity relate to the spirit? There are many of you in this room who know that better and more deeply than I do. This is my take on it. And then it's my take on it that is inspired by others. And it's the take that Margaret and I are looking at together. So we invite you into this realm of what we're thinking about. So many of you are familiar with Christine Walters Painter, and her breakout book was The Artist's Rule: Nurturing Your Creative Soul. And that's a book that I'm using for a basis for what I'm saying today and for my part in the retreat coming at the end of the month. So Painter writes, and this is a quote: "We are called to create not for our own satisfaction, but to participate in the co-creation of a more just and beautiful world." So in this time when the world's aching, why is it that we are called to create? Are those just empty words? What does creativity have to do with that? Called to create. What a calling. So the message I sense is that we have a role in the world that's supported by spiritual practices. And we all know about spiritual practices. They help us not just in creating, but in life. And these spiritual practices allow us to offer our inner selves, our presence, as part of the great presence with a capital P. How does the world call us to create? What is that call? You may remember the beautiful words of St. Irenaeus, who wrote, "The glory of God is the one who is fully alive." When we create, we can be fully alive. We do what makes us feel whole. For creators, that is a call to form, to shape, to be with the spirit in a certain way. As co-creators, we believe that something is beyond us, that we don't understand, but we honor. We believe it's beyond our control, it's beyond our ego, and we allow ourselves to fall into it. We fall into this mystery of the larger creative process that is everywhere around us. In nature, certainly, foremost, maybe first, but every other place. We create even when we set the table in the evenings. Creating is not just with art. Creating is an act of being. When we do so, we engage in this flow. And about that flow, we think about the ancient religious traditions and modern sciences and how they're joining hands now to commend silence and meditation is a way to help our brains and souls come to health. Both silence and meditations are practices that become threshold spaces embedded in our own acts of creation. At St. Mary's, we invite all who come to bring their own well being to the bluff, knowing how humans need silence, meditation, and yes, even some fallow time to thrive. So, right now, in this virtual space, I want to invite you to take a contemplative moment, and then we'll engage in the next creative, soul drenched practice. So, let's take a minute. Amen. Thank you. We have another poem, and this poem will do just a little bit more with kind of in the Lectio idea, but going a little bit deeper into it. And I'd love to have two different people volunteer to read, and I will scroll down so that you can see the words. So just think about whether you'll do that, and I will share my screen. All right, do we have a volunteer to be the first one to read?
I'll read. That's okay, Robbie.
I'd love it, Linda.
Sweet darkness. When your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. When your vision has gone, no part of the world can find you. Time to go into the dark, where the night has eyes to recognize its own. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. The dark will be your womb tonight. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. You must learn one thing. The world was made to be free in. Give up all the other worlds except the one to which you belong. Sometimes it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you.
Thank you, Linda. I will make the font a little bit smaller on my end so that you can see the whole poem. I'm hoping somebody will, probably should make it bigger while we read. Would somebody read the next time and then I'll make it smaller? Karen? Thank you.
Sweet darkness. When your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. When your vision has gone, no part of the world can find you. Time to go into the dark, where the night has eyes to recognize its own. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. The dark will be your womb tonight. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. You must learn one thing. The world was made to be free in. Give up all the other worlds except the one to which you belong. Sometimes it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Karen. Okay, now what I invite you to do is to look at the whole poem, and I'm going to try to get it where it's mostly up there so you can see it at once. Okay. Now, is that too small? Okay, good. I can only see a few of you, but everybody's, is it too small, Barbara, do you think? Okay, good. So what I want you to do is the same process we did before, but put your word or words in the chat. So it's the same process. We're just moving it over to the chat. And if you don't want to do that, just write them down, just whatever feels right to you. But this is kind of the community engagement piece. As folks are finishing that, could I ask Margaret, could you or Mary Beth read those in the chat so I can still have the poem up? Margaret, you may not can do it because you're in a public place, but
I'll be happy to, Robbie. Do you
great.
want me to read them now?
Yes, this is good. So as you listen to these words that Mary Beth is going to read, I want you to think about how they land on you when you see it in the chat and you listen to Mary Beth's words. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up, even though you won't be able to see the poem right away. So let's all kind of engage in this as if it were a contemplative practice too. Okay.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
You are not beyond love. The world was made to be free in. The world was made to be free in. The dark will be your womb tonight. Bring you alive. You are not beyond love. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. Anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. You can be sure you are not beyond love. Give up all the other worlds. Darkness and sweet confinement.
Beautiful. Thank you. Um, and now, if you look through the words that others have highlighted, as well as the ones you did, see if you can craft a sentence or two. And these are just starters, right? So you may want to work with these afterwards because Mary Beth will send you the whole poems, all of the poems. But just now, is there a sentence or two that you can craft? Because we know from writing theory that once you write down one word and a verb with it, it's a whole other time to let it be. There is something that can be born that we don't see ahead of time. So the words come off the page and become embodied in something when we put a noun and verb together. So see what you can do with that. Just write something like a sentence. Oh, let me take those off. Now, as you're finishing that, I know I'm pushing just a little bit because you're going to love what comes next. But as you're finishing that, what I'd love you to do is think about whether or not you want to read aloud. And I'll need just two people to read aloud. And the reason we do that is that witnessing thing that we talked about in the beginning. We witness somebody else's soul. We get to see or hear or experience something that's alive in them, and it often, almost always, sparks something alive in us. So I invite you to read aloud your sentence or two. So I just need two people to do that. And so, do I have two volunteers that I could ask to do that? And that way we know in the beginning who's going to do it. Oh, Michael, do it. Thank you, dear. One other person. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, Mike, go for it.
Darkness can bring you alive beyond what you can currently see.
Thank you. Nancy.
You are not beyond love, and the sweet confinement of the dark womb has light coming in the horizon with hope, even if you cannot fully see it in the dark.
Thank you, Nancy. If you wanted to play with these words on your own later, what you can do is you might even just have one word or phrase that you start with and you make it your own. You know, a time when I felt the darkness, a time when I realized something was too small, a time I knew, let me find the poem, that it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of aloneness to learn anything or anyone that that does not bring you alive is too small for you. So take those things and play with them later and see what sparks, or at least that's an invitation. There are so many more. All right. And so I want us to have time for Visio Divina, and Margaret's going to introduce that to us. So I want to move on. Are there any questions or comments before we move on from the writing part? Okay. Thank you, Margaret. I'll share screen when you tell me to.
Thank you, Robbie. So yes, please go ahead and share the screen. So I invite you now into a time of Visio Divina, divine seeing. And I invite you to see this image with the eyes of God, with your observation skills. And so I'll say a little more about this later, but for now, I ask the question, what do your eyes see? You don't have to be an expert in art. You don't have to know what this is. What do your eyes see? And take a minute of silence with that question. See what rises up. Now I invite you to write in the chat what your eyes see. And Robbie, would you be willing to read those? Robbie, you're on mute.
Thank you. So Amy writes, the light makes a path in the darkness. Ron writes, people holding candles. Anita says, I see us bringing our own lights together to illumine the darkness. Linda writes, a growing community of light. Mike writes, like rivers that are formed by small streams that start in the mountains, we flow together into being one people. Barbara, we are each a light in our beautiful world. Helen, light, more light as bearers converge, coming from different directions, roads merging, details more sharp, close up. Bringing in the light and coming together as one, says Holly. Karen, bringing forth God's light from the stars and universe into the world with others, the power of collective light. Those with light are surrounding those with no light.
Beautiful. Thank you all. This is called Festival of Lights by John Swanson. And I will send you a link to something that gives more of a description about it. For now, I'll ask the second question, and some of you went here already. You're very advanced. What does your heart see? So you observed what your eyes saw, the people holding candles, people coming from all over, many different aspects of this. What does your heart see? Take a minute of silence as you look at it and notice what your heart sees. And Robbie, would you please read those things in the chat?
I'd be happy to. Ron writes, as people share the light, the world becomes a brighter place. Barbara, convergence of incorporeal and corporal, a unification of souls on a journey with a common destination. Linda, the power of light and love and God's community. Liz, community. Mike, a hope and longing for communion. Amy, the power of enlightened community. Oh. Peacefulness found in community, writes Holly. You are not alone. God and light join with us. Barbara. Karen, a long view of hope from around the world and our ancestors. Anita, together we bring the light the world needs. Helen, clothes in different colors bearing the same light, gathering to bear light in darkness. and Nancy. Everyone, each with their own difference, brings light to form unified light.
Beautiful. Thank you all. And now the third question is, how is God speaking to you through this image in your life right now? Take a minute in the quiet and see what rises up. And now I invite you to write in the chat whatever you're comfortable sharing. And Robbie, would you read these two, please?
Gladly. Mike, be a light, an agent for coming together. Ron, share your light with the world. Robbie, every lit candle matters. Linda, I am not, we are not alone on this journey, spiritual journey called life. Holly, hope that light will bring people together. Nancy, a collective soul of light brings brilliance in a darkened world. Anita, God calls me to illumine whatever space I'm in. Amy, it is the light we share from the beloved that is with us now. Helen, from here today, I'm going to a meeting to discuss a difference over how worship and Sunday gathering is experienced. Pain versus praise with someone of a different skin color. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. So you can see that you don't need to know a lot about art. You don't need to know a particular work of art in order to do Visio Divina. And we will do this in more depth at the retreat. So Robbie, over to you. Oh, and I'll put in the chat the link to the description of the artist and this art.
Thank you all. So for today, we just had an hour and we wanted to give you a little bit of space over the lunch hour, a time of quiet and silence and community. And I would love it. We would love it for this silence and intention to continue in you as this river seems to continue throughout. We don't see the beginning. We don't see the end. It's a kind of threshold space in which we create. We create art, we create life, we create ritual, we create patterns. We're called to create. So as you think back over this session, remember these words from Rachel Naomi Remen. We are hungry for this other silence. It is hard to find. In its presence, we can remember something beyond the moment. Silence is God's lap. Now, in the October-November retreat time together, we'll have a more expansive time to interact in small groups, to have centering prayer every day, to experience Margaret leading us in contemplative practices, and then to think about and talk about how Shalane might have a presence in this area of the world where St. Mary's is located and the surrounding parts. So to end, I want to say this: silence is a place of great power and great healing. Silence is God's lap. Amen. Amen. Now, if any of you have questions that you'd like to ask, please stick around, or comments. We'd love to hear from you. And I just want to personally thank everyone for being here today. I felt like we had a true community. It was just a taste, and I'm so glad that we got to share in that spiritual taste together. So thank you all. You matter.